I will start by looking at this content here. Saving is very important. For you to be able to save, of course, you must know how to control your spending. After you control your spending, you are able to save. Don't leave this money just like that. You have to invest your savings. And then we have the 5 laws of gold, right? I'll also have like a few minutes to demonstrate to you that however small, it's very important to build your own house, right? Secure your own family future, very important. And then keep learning about your craft. Keep learning about your craft. If it's CPA that you are doing today, don't think, ladies and gentlemen, that whatever you are doing today is 100% sufficient. You must always keep on doing what you are upskilling. You must always keep on upskilling. So this content that I have here, ladies and gentlemen, we've lifted it from this great book of The Richest Man in Babylon. Richest Man in Babylon. Is there anybody who has read this very important book that was written in those ancient days? Is there somebody who has ever read this Richest Man in Babylon book? The guy is so big in terms of saving. He's so big in terms of impulse. He's against impulse purchase. Impulse purchase. You don't just wake up according to him and you say, today I'm going to, no. You don't see just something like that and then you admire it and you want it like just on that particular day at that particular time. According to him, control or rather spending has to be budgeted for. It has to be thought well through about. And then we have the concept of investing your savings. If you save, for example, you take this money to some current account and leave it there, that money will not earn any interest. It will be a flat kind of saving, meaning that, of course, the inflation will eat into your savings. Whatever basket of goods, this particular money you have saved here today, if you don't, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, invest and earn some return, then that particular saved amount with 0 returns will not be able to buy an equivalent basket of goods in the future. Because remember what we call the time value of money. We have what we call the time value of money. So whatever you have as savings, then you must invest for you to be able to earn a return. And then we shall be able to look at the 5 laws of gold. Gold is money. In this case, he called it gold. It was written so many years ago. There wasn't money that time. They were using gold. So 5 laws of gold. Then very important for purposes of also giving you comfortability as a human being. Shelter is very important. Shelter. Instead of paying rent forever, think of shelter, albeit just a smaller house. You grow like that. And then we have the concept of securing your own future as well as your family's future. Then we have the concept of what here, keep learning about your craft, about your craft. So please, as I do this, I expect you guys to be making comments there on issues you'd also want us to discuss about. You can also raise questions directly, right? So that I can respond to them. Ladies and gentlemen, I would want to go straight away to the next thing. So the first one here, lesson number one, which is very important. You must pay yourself first. That is what the richest man in Babylon told us. That if you are earning, say, a salary of 700,000, a salary of 100,000, the very first thing that you should do is to pay yourself first. Because most of the times we are earning 200,000, we are earning 50,000, but automatically I get this money, I run straight away to some supermarket, I'm just spending, giving this money to others. At the end of the day, I'm left with nothing. To pay yourself first means that you need to get at least 10% of your total earnings into some savings scheme. And preferably a savings scheme that will not be able to easily access this money. So we are in agreement, ladies and gentlemen, that it will be very important for us to pay ourselves first. And how do we pay? How do we say that you've paid ourselves first? By saving at least 10% of whatever we earn. So save some money. That is what it means by paying yourself first. Now, we have in this case here, this gentleman who said, a part of all you earn is yours to keep. That is a very important statement that goes to build my case of paying yourself first. A part of all you earn, which should be at least 10%, is yours to keep. Is yours to keep. So remember, in this case, you would want, of course, whatever you have earned here, you'd want to pay the rent, you'd want to pay for a few things like fashions, etc. But ensure that a part of all this is going to be yours to keep. And that is what we mean by this concept of paying yourself first. Now, we also need to know how to control our spending. And when you start, in this case here, by paying yourself first, remember now the total disposable income. The total disposable income that you have is less than 90%. Disposable income is the income that you can spend. 10% has already been kept somewhere. It's not available for usage. So the various expenses that I have here, of course, food is a necessity. I have rent there. I have an urge to buy a new phone. I may be thinking about a few beers in the month, vacation, right? Clothes, yes. Water, medicine, bills, very important. Now, when we talk of controlling your spending, there are those items that you can do without. When I realize that when I add the total expenses in my budget, the total expenses, it would be very good for you to budget for all these expenses. When I add these total expenses, perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, I realize that my total income is, say, 100,000, but my expenses, when I'm budgeting and adding all of them, they're coming to 110, or they're even coming to 100. When I realize that this equation is not in agreement, that the total expenditure should be, in this case, at most 90%, that means I have to cut some of these expenses here off my budget. And which expenses are you seeing as cutting? That, I mean, even if I've got a rickety phone, it's still serving me. I can remove this new phone out of this month's year budget. This beer is not a matter of life stroke death. I can do without it. Vacation, I can also explain to my kids, tell my kids, hey, you know what, even for purpose of trying to ensure that they also follow some kind of savings, they get to know this concept of savings early in advance. I'll tell them, hey, you know what, this month we are not going for any vacation because I realize I have I'm shooting above my budget. So I can cut on the vacation. So then I'm left with just the necessities, what I really need: food, rent, clothes, water, medicine, bills, right? And if I'm able to balance my budget like that nicely, such that the total expenditure will be less than 90%, then there I am, I will be able to even celebrate. I will really celebrate. The thing here is that I should not eat the total cake. I should not eat the total cake. I have still to be well within the 90%. But if I realize that my total is more than 90%, I must go back to square one. Put all my calculators, including Excel, at square one here. I'm trying to look at, from my budget, what is it that I can strike out? What is it I can strike out to ensure that the total expenditure will be less than 90%? All in all, regardless of the urge, of course, the devil himself will be trying to talk to you. We shall never spend our 10% savings. That is a no-go zone. That's a no-go zone. And that is why you are told that these savings, ladies and gentlemen, you should never put them. You should never put these savings in an area where you'll be able to reach your savings easily. This one here should be stuck in some forum where you can't access easily. And of course, even if you're able to access this easily, so long as you've said this is 10% of my income that I've saved, meaning that this is really my only payment. I'm the worker here, really. I'm the one who is working so hard. And I've decided to pay myself just 10% of my total income as my savings. If this is what I've been able to pay myself, then I should not really be tempted to eat this money. I will never spend my savings. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this 10% that you are stashing aside as your savings, you must always strive to invest it. Otherwise, if you're just putting this in some kamkebe in your home, you're putting this in some piggy bank, it can never earn any interest. This money is really losing value as you see it. It's losing value as you watch. It's losing value as you watch, right? So, of course, when you talk of investment, you have to choose your investments wisely. Choose your investments wisely. If I go back a little bit here, when we talk of, first of all, these savings, if I'm going to save, this money, I must choose my savings vehicles nicely, right? This concept of keeping aside like 100 bob, 200 bob every time we said savings, if possible, because they are short term in nature and they're coming in small, like 300, like 500, please have a money market fund. Have a money market fund. And I'm so happy because I'm seeing most of you are really struggling to open these Safaricom Mali. Safaricom Mali is so secure. The problem with Safaricom Mali, their rate of interest is very, very small. They can't, in this case here, match CIC. They can't match CIC, right? So money market fund is what I recommend to you. Hey, you great fellow investors. It will be very important for us to start thinking over how do we save the little. Don't despise those little beginnings. Those little 100 shillings there, 200 shillings there, 500 shillings there. The one in this case here, amount here, you would have easily drunk beer. No, set this amount aside. And we're saying, ladies and gentlemen, very important here that we must invest these savings. Otherwise, it doesn't earn anything. And then we must now choose our investments. Investments generally are long-term in nature. So when you're choosing your investments, remember the concept of government bonds, all right? Remember your pension schemes when you're thinking of the very future. When you're choosing your investments, we also have rental properties, etc. So always invest wisely, Now we have the laws of the gold. I love these laws of the gold. The first law, gold comes to people who always save a tenth of their earnings to secure their own and the family's future. This is a person who wrote this book, is it more than 1,000 years ago? But he knew that gold, whatever that is good, comes to all those people who always do what here? Save. Who always save a tenth. It should be at least a tenth. If you're saving 20%, 30%, the better. At least a tenth of their earnings to secure their own and the family's future. Second law, gold is very eager to work for you when it is invested in the right opportunities. So when you invest this gold, then this money will be able to work for you because of the interest that you are earning, Second law, very important law. If you want this money to work for you, when money works for you, basically you have got the passive sources of income where you don't have to go outside there shouting like to tenants. You don't have to go like myself, start actively working for you to earn a salary. These are the passive investment vehicles. So gold is very eager to work for you when it is invested in the right opportunity. That's second law. Third law, this gold, which is wealth, clings to its owner who carefully takes the advice of wise men in handling money. If you don't have mentors, you don't have a mentor who walks with you through this journey of wealth creation, then there is no way you will be able to get wealth. Gold clings to its owner, who carefully takes advice of wise men in handling money. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are here and you don't have people you look up towards to be able to really tell you, hey, place this money here, like now what I'm doing today is mentorship. You guys are bright because now you have a mentor, and I believe I'm not the only one. There are other mentors outside there, right? Even the clique of your friends that you're walking around with, they should be kind of your mentors, even if they are still your buddies, even age mates. If you're working with wise men, age doesn't matter. They should be able to advise you. If you get that team that tells you that it's about party after party after party, that this weekend you spent 10,000 shillings, and then people are telling you that, hey, you are a great man, you are a stupid man. You are financially illiterate. You need help. And to be helped in this case here, you need a mentor. All right. So we have a very important third law. You can never be very far away from your associations. Who do you associate with? Do you have wise men? Yes, you could be drinking a little if you normally drink beer, but when you are at that table, what do you talk about? Do you attend, for example, classes where people talk about investments, where people talk about financial literacy? How do you become financial literate? Because you have got so many people, ladies and gentlemen, even with masters, with PhDs, who still are financially illiterate, and really many people are financially illiterate. I've traveled around, and I can assure you, right? Most of us do not know how to handle money, and it's something we have to admit if we want to be helped. The fourth law, second last law. Okay, I'm sorry. We are back. 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 Great. But are you guys in this case here really following this session? Are you able to follow from wherever you are nicely? Is it possible for you to leave some comment there? Are you able to follow? Are you able to follow? Are you able to follow? How I wish we had a bigger quorum, but the mistake is mine. I never shared the link early. Are you guys able to follow here? Great. Thank you very much. Great. 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 So as I was trying to explain, this thing, you get somebody from nowhere, he tells you that, you know what, this is the investment that you want you to put in. And the moment you put in your money here, they'll be able to earn 10 times, 20 times. You should never try an industry you're not very good at. If you're not very good at something and you don't have a partner you can work with in that industry, leave that. So somebody will come and tell you, hey, buy a matatu, buy a matatu. That the moment you buy a matatu, you start making, like some people were cheating me, that once you buy a matatu, then you shall start making like 10,000. Unakwambia mzee, the moment you go for this matatu manyanga, you shall start making 10,000 per day, and then you are cheated like that. And I don't know what those young men do. Or normally, the first day they'll give you that money, the second day the same, the third day the same, the fourth day the same. But after that, now they start coming up with a lot of stories, policemen, etc. So if it's not an industry that you are so good at, always stay away. Tell that person, thanks very much for that advice, but really, I'm not, right? Like a doctor. I can't start, in this case here, I cannot start a clinic. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that because this is not really my thing. So it will be very important for us to repeat. This is a very important law, because I've seen somebody comes from nowhere. He tells you that if you invest in, you don't even know where your money is being invested. I mean, good investments. If I go to CIC today, insurance company, and I would want them to open for me a money market fund, these guys will tell me that your money will be invested in these particular vehicles. We're going to put some of these money in treasury bills, etc. But when you come and tell me that now we have this particular Ponzi scheme, a Ponzi scheme, something that is basically surrounded with a lot of mysteries, mysterious investments. I mean, I will never go there because, I mean, that's not an area that I'm so used to. I'll lose all my wealth. Gold normally goes to people who invest in ventures that they are good at, or ventures that their partners are good at, or where they have really been advised and they're able to do their calculations, and then they realize that, hey, this is what this is really worthwhile. So gold slips away from a person who invests it in businesses or purposes which they are not familiar. It will go away. They're not familiar with. Now, as we get along, ladies and gentlemen, I would want some students here to tell me whether there is anyone amongst ourselves here who has ever invested in an industry that they were not so good at and they lost money. Where in this case here, they were not having any control and they lost the entire world. The gold slipped away. Who moved away my cheese? Anybody who has ever invested in an unfamiliar territory and they lost terribly? Don't worry, we'll not ask you about what the venture was. I just want some confirmations here. Is there anybody who has ever invested in an industry that they knew nothing about? Like, I know of a friend of mine who is an accountant like myself. He was told, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and invest in, yes, and invest in where? Invest in this hospital equipment, yes. Hospital equipment, yes. And the guy lost millions. If you have never tried like exportation business, yeah, crypto, you've never tried exportation business. When you get a chance of exporting goods, please get mentors to walk the journey with you, Yes, I can see so many of you guys saying, yes, we have lost here through this Forex, whatever, which is very good. You know, at the end of the day, failure is also one of the ways of doing what here, learning, yes. It's one of the ways of learning. So don't cry so much. But at the end of the day, we shall overcome. Great. So the fifth law, which is the last law, the fifth law, which is the last law, is building your own house. Build your own house. It doesn't have to be a very big thing. But for comfortability, like this guy, especially at some age, 35, 40, always strive to ensure that you are able to do what here, to build your own house. There is nothing as good as sleeping in a house where nobody comes to knock at the end of what year? Each month. At the end of each month. But again, here, never go for exaggerations. Just do a small, modest house, knowing for sure that one day the kids that you have around with you will no longer be there with you. These guys would want homes of their own, right? So there is no good reason for you to start doing like a home that has got 5 bedrooms. No good reason. No good reason. Don't tie all your monies in this kind of what-year properties, because remember, they're not really income generating. What you would want is a roof on top of what-year your head, right? Of course, it should be nice, but not that nice, because the price you'll pay for it being that nice will be too high. That money should be invested where? That money should be invested in some income generating activities, So something modest, 3-bedroom house, a modest thing like that. And then when we say you build your own house, especially when you're doing your own house here in Nairobi, don't make this a house, for example, to be like 100 kilometers from Nairobi, and yet you're coming to Nairobi like every day. I mean, you will be so tired. You won't be productive at your workplace, right? You'd rather continue saving like for the next 5 years, and then you get land at some nearby place. So you must look at so many factors. You must look at so many factors. Now, any question? Any question so far? So of course, secure your own family's future. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, as I told you the other day, today you could be very strong. Today you are this guy on a tie, looking nice, shouting, happy. But if you don't have a plan, and then you reach this particular age here, where everything is aching in your body, all parts of your body are aching, even when you are walking is a problem. Like this man, you can see he's in pains. Ladies and gentlemen, securing your own and of course family's future is very important. When do you start planning for this? Securing your own family future. Of course, we look at the basics, like the pension, like your first paycheck. Your very first paycheck, when you are paid like this, the very first paycheck, always ask your employer whether they have deducted NSSF. All right. Try in this case here to find some private pension scheme. Private pension what year? Private pension scheme, right? Otherwise, during those old days, you're going to have it rough. Remember the Maslow's pyramid, hierarchy of needs, that hierarchy of needs down here. Are you able to remember those needs at the base? Is there anybody who is able to remember those needs at the base? Those needs at the base. Is there anybody who is able to remember those needs at the base? So food. When I retire, I would want to have food sufficiency. Clothes must be there. Shelter must be there. If you don't take care of these 3 things very well, you can easily get yourself even sleeping on the streets. You will get yourself even sleeping on the streets, because if you don't have food, right? If you don't, even the guys you see going outside there to steal, taking huge risks, it's because they never took care of what are the first 3 needs. The first 3 needs. And how do you take care of these first 3 needs? Is these small savings and doing what we call investment. So that if, for example, I've got government bonds, I bought a January bond, and I've taught you this severally. I bought a January bond, I have a February bond. So meaning that I'll be getting interests every month. Automatically it means that my future is secure. My future is secure, right? But if it's about running all round, all weekend, so shikiki, unaambiwa na mama, jameni, mzee kaa namna hii, let's try to save like this. Ama mzee anakuambia mama, hii kuchapa happy till very early morning hours is not really working right for the family in the future. Of course, outside there, you are wasting a few coins here and there. Let's put up these things together to see how our future will be. In the future, you'll not be able to have those basics you're talking about. And that is why you'll get, in this case here, people who used to do very well, some of them even ending up having, sleeping on the streets, like in America, right? Simply because they never took care of the 3, right? Right? And trust you me, getting yourself, in this case here, in those situations is not a tough thing. Where you're lacking food, is not a tough thing. If you're not taking care of those things right now and you're energetic, then you'll get yourself in problems. You'll get yourself in problems. Great. So always have a plan, like a pension scheme must be there. Rental, build a portfolio. When you talk of securing your own family, of course, or rather your own family, and even your own future, you must have a plan. You must build a portfolio. A portfolio is a combination of investments. I have, in this case here, government bonds. I have, in this case here, some shares at a Sacco. I have, in this case here, some rental properties. I don't want to live large when I retire, but at least I should have my basics sorted. Otherwise, I will live a bad lifestyle. Great. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, that these particular sessions are coming to you live from RCM Online College. RCM Online College is your #1 college in terms of offering online, virtual, CPA, ACCA, CFFE, NEC diplomas. We are quite modest in terms of our fees. Like CPA, we charge just 4,000 shillings per paper, 4,000 shillings per paper, and you'll be able to study from wherever you are. So basically, we are helping you to do what you're to save. We are helping you to save. We are helping you to save. What is RCM in full? Remember, we don't have, that's our brand name. It's RCM Online College Limited. Online College Limited, RCM Online College Limited. It doesn't stand for, it's our brand name, it's our subsidiary, which does these virtual trainings. So if you're writing a check to us, you simply write it RCM Online College Limited, like that. Great. So let's continue a little bit before I pick other questions. So when we talk of securing your family's future, you can see, if you can afford, there are those companies that you can see, which in future will be big. You need to acquire their stocks today. And you need really to be analyzing your portfolios like this money. You have to analyze your portfolios. This stock like Safaricom, once they penetrate through the Ethiopian market, Safaricom will be a huge company. So we want to risk and buy their stocks today. Because, you know, Ethiopia is a big market. Is a big market. If they penetrate there, like now I'm told about 6% or whatever, people have started accepting Safaricom in Ethiopia. If they just penetrate Ethiopia market the way they have penetrated Kenyan market, like they're controlling about 80% of Kenyan market, then straight away stocks of Safaricom will hit 200. They'll be up there on the roof. So I would want to buy some stocks as well. Equity investments, yes. All right. So we must really, when we want to secure our future, we must be seated down with our mentors. We are planning our portfolios nicely here. We're also discussing this with our kids there. It's quite a whole science behind this thing, a whole science behind this thing. And then most importantly, keep learning about your craft. Keep learning about your craft. Now, there are some classmates of mine I get who used even to be much brighter in this accounting world than myself. But when I get them today, some of them, not all of them, they are not doing so well. Some of them are still working for some Indian companies, being paid like 80,000, and blessed with what some sister of mine some time back was telling me, a crowd, that this number of children is a crowd. I like that statement. Right? Right. So it becomes an issue. And you can see the biggest mistake that these guys did, they were not refining their skills. They were not upskilling. Like some of us, ladies and gentlemen, we work for international organizations, not because we are very bright. No, it's because, I mean, like the Excel I know. Of course, I teach some of you Excel here, advanced Excel, right? The VLOOKUP. Like if I hold the Power BI, I'm so good with Power BI. I'm able to do the visualizations. I'm able to build dashboards, right? Right? I don't spare monies whenever it comes to what here upskilling, right? I know programming, the Python language, I'm so good at it. If it's Excel, I'm able to do the macros, right? So if you employ me, I mean, you have to incur a higher what year price. You must pay for this mwalimu, in this case, here, some golf club, right? So it's all about upskilling. If you would want to secure your family's future, your own future, you can't tell me that CPA is a bad course and you're not, in this case, you're really working hard to acquire the 21st century skills. I normally sympathize with the people who come to my office. They'll tell me, mwalimu, you know what? I have a master's. No problem. Master's is very good. But tell them, hey, here we have Excel sheet. This Excel sheet that we have here, could you kindly just develop a simple dashboard using a pivot table? Do a pivot table. From the pivot table, in this case here, give me a graph, which in this case here is a dynamic. When I touch this number, the pivot changes. When I touch this, I'll be able to see sales of this region, etc. The summarized management reports. So you get that these guys do not know. When you talk about sustainability reporting, this thing of reporting in terms of what we call the 3 Ps, like if it's a company, RCM Online College Limited, if it's a company, we are looking at how much do we get as profit. But you see, we must go beyond the profit. We must look at people, salaries. What are we paying for our employees' fees to study, to upskill, right? So people is the second P. And then we have the planet, the environment, right? So you will get an accountant who does not know how to just prepare an ESG report, economic, social, and governance report. And you want someone to pay you $1 million in a year, in a month, I mean, nobody will ever do that. You'll be left there complaining that CPA is a bad course. And yet, you know, I have a degree in civil engineering. So in future, for those guys who will be looking for structural engineers, you should be able to do what you have to come to me, right? Right. But on top of that, I did CPA, I did ACCA, right? And I've done so many other courses. If there is a course that I respect, is this accounting finance. This is what I eat with, right? This is what is able to put food on my table. So as much as we want to say that CPA is a bad thing, that CASNEB, ISPAC, they are not, it's because you don't have the required skills. I would want someone to be very open with me here, with us here, and tell us whether, let's see here from you guys, is there anybody who has ever failed an interview in a serious organization because of poor Excel skills? If you could respond to us, we'll really be very happy. Anybody who has ever failed some great companies interview because their Excel skills were wanting. They went, in this case here, to a company. The thing they told them is that we have tables here. Can you connect these tables here? You can see Bidal, David, yes. Yes. And I'm so sure most of you are not telling me the truth, because I know every other day accountants fail interviews because of what here? Excel knowledge that is wanting. Thank you very much, because now you're coming up. Excel knowledge, Excel skills are wanting. So remember, we offer, like if I were you, Mercy, today, I'll not even look at advanced Excel alone. I will do what we call business and the data analytics. Business and data analytics, which we charge 8,000, and we offer it virtually. We offer it virtually. And of course, if you're interested in knowing more about our college, more about the courses that we have, our number is 0719 525,000. 0719 525,000. 0719 525,000. 0719 525,000. How I wish I had somebody. Yes, you know, business analytics, business and data analytics, Excel is well within there. The advanced Excel is well within there, yes. But remember, Jacqueline, the earlier you start doing this Excel, the better. The earlier you start doing this business and data analytics there, better. Today I'm lacking people who should be able to give my students, our college information. So there we are. Great, 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 great. So we come back here. Now, bonus points. Bonus points. If you want to become rich, action is your best friend. Most of us get to hear this kind of information, and we don't put a device that we're given into action. All this wisdom passed on remains dead if not put into action. Make a few great friends along the way. Choose the people who also live by the wisdom of wealth, right? Have a circle of very few friends. You guys are living in dangerous times. where you'll get in this case here where people are just cheating you that you are the man, the macho man. You spend on people without really knowing that you need to be financially literate because of the risks which are outside here, right? You keep on thinking that the future will be so great because you have people who are cheating you, people that you can't sit down with to discuss anything about wealth creation. They know nothing. They can't even tell you that, you know what, we can go to Isinya, for example, buy this land and fence it, leave it for 10 years. We then get what we call capital appreciation, right? There'll come a time when you will need help, and it's wise to accept aid from someone you already do what here, trust. Aid in form of being advised. If you're the one helping a friend, help him or her in a way that will not bring a burden to your own self. A burden to your own self. Always be cautious. Always be cautious. Always be cautious. Great. Great. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I start answering your question, remember today it's all about Saccos, but I can see the quorum is quite little, so I don't know whether we should continue or we postpone this. What I'll do, I'll just mention something small, and then we will know. Great. So I've received a lot of Saccos. All right, which wanted us to really talk about their products, but I would not do that because there are Saccos that I don't really know the information. If I do that, I will really mislead my people. So I'll only talk about a Sacco that I'm so conversant with, which is Mwasibu Sacco. Mwasibu Sacco. Is there anybody who is a member of Mwasibu Sacco? Anybody who is a member of Mwasibu Sacco? Is there anybody who is a member of Mwasibu Sacco? A Sacco for accountants. A Sacco for accountants. A Sacco for accountants. A Sacco for accountants, Mwasibu Sacco. I can see they are responding there. I'm interested to know. Jane is a member. Jane is a member. Great. Thank you. Great. Fred is also a member. Now, remember, Saccos, basically they belong into what we call savings and investment vehicles. So Saccos will be able to assist you invest, like in the short term. What I told you, if you remember when we began this investment 101 session, we said, if, for example, today you are earning 100,000, what will happen is that if you get the entire money, then automatically this money will just slip away your hands. You will not be able to know what went where. But if, for example, you have a standing order, either at your bank, I don't like the bank because it'll be charged, a standing order in your company, you tell your company, when you pay me salary, please deduct like 20% of my income, and then you take this to Mwasibu Sacco direct. Then that one will really save you a lot of what here, loss of wealth. Because when you receive this money, you start spending, at the end of the day, you'll not be able to really pay yourself fast. So paying yourself fast, go to your accounts office like tomorrow. Issue some instructions. Tell them, hey, when you pay me my salary, this percentage, just start in this case here, remitting the same to Mwasibu Sacco. That 20% is what will remain with at the end of the day. Is what you will remain with at the end of the day. Is what will remain with at the end of the day. Great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very well. Why would I recommend Mwasibu Sacco? Through Mwasibu Sacco, I've been able to do quite many projects. Now, when you go to Mwasibu Sacco and save religiously, what I would recommend, first of all, I know most of you fear Saccos because of guarantors, right? So if you're looking for guarantors, don't join a Sacco alone. Go, in this case here, for example, to a Sacco. If you're working for Kenyatta National Hospital, convince like 3 or 4 of your colleagues to go and do what here. You team up with them to go and open an account with Mwasibu Sacco and encourage them really to do what you have to say, encourage them to save. So that once you reach some good amounts of deposits, you should be able to guarantee each other. And then you take what year, you take whatever loan you want. Mwasibu Sacco is among those few Saccos that gives members loans up to 5 times. So if you have about $1 million, right? And then of course you don't have any history of defaulting, right? These guys will be able to give you 5 times of your shares. So they'll give you a loan of 5 million. But now there is one challenge with this guarantorship. When you guarantee a person, it's as good as you have taken that money he took. So if you guarantee a person and then they disappear, your shares will be chopped. And that is where you really have to understand the person that you have guaranteed. If possible, what I tell my people here during this Sacco education days, ensure that you know this person that you are guaranteeing so closely. If, for example, he has a family, know even some family members, because when they go away without, in this case, and then they default, of course, your contributions will go. And that is why if you go to Mwasibu Sacco today, you'll never get myself guaranteeing anybody, because I knew if you guarantee people, I have very many friends of mine who are really crying. So what I did, I decided to have my guarantors being my assets. So if I need a loan, I don't ask for any guarantorship, because if I ask Sharon here to guarantee me, next time when she wants a loan, she will come to me and tell me, Mwalimu, I guaranteed you, guarantee me as well. So what I do, I'll just have my vehicle in good condition. When I want a loan, I'll go to Mwasibu, tell Mwasibu, charge this logbook, and they'll be able to do that, right? If I want to buy a home, what I do, I'll go to Mwasibu. They have a very good mortgage product. This mortgage product, they give you, actually for the mortgage product, they give you 8 times of your contribution. So if you've got $1 million shillings, they'll be able to give you what year 8 million to enable you buy what year, to enable you buy this house. And remember, their interest rates, like the mortgage, is quite low. If today you go asking for a mortgage, or for example, in some of these banks, trust me, the interest rate has become quite high, 18%. Like Kenya Women Finance is 20-something%, right? These Saccos are charging you slightly less than what you're 12%. And then remember, with Saccos like myself, during COVID, when I was not able to remit my contributions because, schools, that time I was depending on college 100%. And we had closed. So I simply went to Mwasibu Sacco and told my Sacco, hey, you know what? I can't remit. And they were able to listen, right? But if you go to, for example, even people went to banks to do renegotiations. I mean, those guys will charge you crazy fines, penalties, right? Crazy fines, crazy penalties, right? And of course, there will be that particular sword, which is dangling somewhere, that anytime these guys here can auction you. Remember, for a Sacco, if you see a Sacco coming to auction you, really you are a serious defaulter who does not even take their mobile calls when they call you, right? They listen, right? Again, ladies and gentlemen, remember, if today you go borrowing, like I remember there is a facility that I took. Was it from it must have been from Equity Bank, yes, right? It was about talk of, say, 9 million Kenya shillings, right? These guys, at the end of the day, they'll charge you these processing fees. You'll be surprised, 400 to 600,000. Saccos, most of them, the processing fees will be like 1%. Processing fees. I can see Society here. Perhaps you can tell us, what does your Sacco charge for processing fees? For processing alone? At times 0, like I know Police Sacco, they charge 0. right? Minimum contribution, most Saccos, minimum contribution is 1,000 a month, 1,000 a month, 1,000 a month, 1,000 a month. All right. So to me, I'll go to a Sacco today, not for purposes of this guarantor. No. Guarantor. At the end of the day, Sasiet will be able to tell you at the end of the day, this guarantorship, not unless all of you have some common bond. You're working for the same company, and this same company is doing a check-off system towards loan repayments. At the end of the day, this egg will become bad somewhere and people will lose out. So the very best, I always go for what year for these, my assets. Like when I go for a mortgage, that a house becomes my guarantor. If I've got land will become what year my guarantor. Asset valuation cost, of course, in this case, that's a very good question, Eunice. Asset valuation, of course, is yours. Even if it's a Sacco, even if it's a bank, asset valuation is yours. That is you on your cost. That's your bill. And normally what I advise people come to me for financial advisory. Once an asset has been charged, please don't discharge. Don't discharge. Fred, is it possible you unmute? I can see Fred here. Do you want to ask a question, Fred? Or you raised your hand by mistake? Yes, valuation cost plus the charge goes to what year to the. So please don't discharge. What you do when you realize that this particular asset, of course, the loan is going down, myself, what do? I'll always go and ask for more because I'm a man of ideas. I would want to do so many things, but of course, I'm also looking at my appetite, right? So loans are not bad. Ensure that you are paying them promptly. There is no way you'll become rich if you're not borrowing. I can see Maggie Wamboy asking, how about if you do not have if you don't have a property, then you must work with the team that you go with to this Sacco for purpose of what your guarantorship, or you take a loan which is below your shares, which will be bad. You know, when you take a loan below your shares, you don't really get maximum value out of what you're out of the Sacco. So the best, when you are especially growing up at those tender ages, then you can go in as a team and try to co-guarantee each other. But again, ensure that you win yourself a way out of this guarantorship very fast by thinking big. Right? Raphael is asking a very good question here. What if, when you are going into any investment, you must always think of the exit strategy. What if you want to exit? Will you get all your deposits? You get back all your deposits except capital. There is a capital contribution. Capital can never be refunded. I think for Mwasibu, if I'm not wrong, it's 10,000 shillings minimum capital. So capital is never refunded. What they will do is to ask you to sell it. But you see, 10,000 is something you can afford to do what here to lose. Great. Yes, like family team, right? Family team, yes, that's very good. But first, have this family team going for these money market what your funds. First of all, you pool this money together using a money market fund, and then once it reaches some level, and then you take it to the Sacco. But I don't know whether you'll be able to form some independent investment vehicle like a company, etc. So capital is transferable. You can transfer it. Yes, you can sell it. Although you can't get 10,000 people here are quite crafty. What about their dividends payment for the last few years? This one you have to find out, but of course, Mwasibu Sacco is among the top. Normally, for me, they have strict instructions never to pay me any dividends. All my dividends I recoup back, right? Because I would want to enjoy the power of what here? Compound interest, the power of compound interest. All right. So I believe, ladies and gentlemen, I've really taken time to, of course, they have got many other products like the holiday products, right? Very many products like the school fees product, but those are things you can get from their website. Mine was just to come here and advise you that Mwasibu Sacco is the way to go. And once You're also there. Remember, you're saving. After some point in time, you may want especially to remove some of your deposits like I normally do. If they are not tied into some loan, you play around with money. You remove this cash here, you go and buy government infrastructure bonds. They don't have the 15% withholding tax, right? So you keep on playing around with money. Great. So we have here, does deposits earn? Yes, you will earn in this case here. Remember, interest will be on the capital. Dividends, yes, you will earn. You will earn, yes. You will earn dividends. You will earn in this case here, interest on the capital. Must you be an accountant to join? I think nowadays they have opened this, although if you're not an accountant, they would want your degree certificate. If, for example, you are an HR practitioner, they'd want your degree certificate so you can apply. Do they have branches, Mercy? You don't need branches nowadays. A Sacco which has branches, actually that will cost you. That's quite a huge cost because some of those branches may not be automatically, break even, and then the cost will be huge. Nowadays, what you need is a Sacco that is good in terms of what your ICT infrastructure. You can send money to them when you want, even loan application like Mwasibu do on phone, etc. Great. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, I would want to take this opportunity to thank you all for always signing up and joining, of course, these particular sessions. I'm so sure most of us will not be able to see the impact like today. But after 10 years, I can prophesy this. One of you will come and tell me, Mwalimu, there is a big gift here. Your advice that you gave us worked. The advice you gave us worked. But of course, I'm not giving you this thing for free. I expect you guys to sign up to my courses at RSM Online College. Don't please forget to get more information about RSM Online College by calling us. Like the CPA students, we've just begun our classes today. I expect to see you coming to study. Now, this CPA, can you really study CPA online throughout? Trust you me. I've taught CPA online for 7 years, and I know people began online with me and finished CPA. Great. Yeah, Ting, never leave your guarantorship open. Always say, I'm guaranteeing Joshua Aura up to 100,000. If they ask for a top-up, never ever have it, ladies and gentlemen, like it's an open guarantorship. State there that I'm only guaranteeing this person this particular amount, just like that. So in the future, when they go to take loans, let them look for guarantors afresh. Yeah, I can testify. Data methods and data analytics and AFM. Yes, when our ACCA classes starting, we are starting today. Great. Thank you so much. Share the book that had the 5 gold rules. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. Richest Man in Babylon. It's available in soft copy. I'll also share with you these slides. I'll share with you the slides. Otherwise, thank you very much. Be blessed. I'm looking forward again to meeting you in the near future. I'll also share this video with you through YouTube. After completing the degree, cheers. Thank you. Be blessed too, Geoffrey. Bye.